Welcome back. Well, it's so beautiful outside. I thought I'd bring canvas covered board out here and we'd work outside today. I want to warn you ahead of time that because it is a beautiful day, I'm going to have some jets flying out, taking off from SeaTac Airport. And it may be disturbing to you. I hope not. It is what it is. Anyway, continuing with these pieces that I pinched out, I thought today I would do a little staining, but I want to show you that I have looked at the pieces and decided that I didn't like the rims. I know I told you, yes, they can be beautiful and they're undulating, and but I saw them with a fresh eye and decided they were a little bit too much. So I softened them up a bit. And how I did that was I used this Shearform tool and I just went around the rim. There's still a nice undulation around here, but it's much softer and way more pleasant, I think, more fitting for the forms. And that's the kind of thing you have to look at, and sometimes it does take a fresh eye. You can come back to a piece of work and make those decisions, and oftentimes it's a good decision, good way to go. So working on that with this squares it off and doesn't look real great. Not a good way to finish the piece. So I went back in with this Shearform tool, which has got an outer curve, and you can work the interior of this rim to give it that lip that flows from the interior wall to the exterior wall, moving outward. And I think I mentioned that with the thumb, how the thumb moves from the pad to the nail in a curve. That makes a much more pleasant delivery of liquid. So I did that to all of these pieces. Now these pieces are in the bone dry greenware stage, meaning all of the atmospheric water has dissipated and there's only relative humidity basically. So these are dry and not cold to the touch. When you put them to your cheek, they should feel room temperature or outdoor temperature. These have been in the sun, so they feel good. But looking at a couple of these pieces, I'm not super pleased with some of the rims even still. This one looks very thin to me, which personally I drink from thin-lipped cups a lot because I make them. I enjoy them. But some people have a problem with that. And a tea bowl, you know, of this nature, not being super refined, trying to maintain some of that organic quality, probably better off with a bit of a thicker rim like this, nice, rounded and beefy. Feels good. Some people would still say this is thin, but you know, I noticed that on this piece especially. When I look down on it, I see this, and I'm not really pleased with it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and just show you using this Shearform and try to thicken that up a little bit. And I don't have a lot of material there, so do what I can with what I've got, right? That's all you can do, really. when they're this dry, you run the risk of chipping. That can happen. So you can see that rim is now kind of squared off, and it's still very sharp. So I'll use the coarse steel wool, and I just want to get the rim. So I'm just kind of wrapping that rim and then working around, trying to round it off a bit. Still got the nice curve from the interior moving out to the exterior wall. Looking at it, it looks okay. So I'll just go ahead and smooth that out. You may not be able to tell the difference on the camera. I prefer it. This looks better to me. Just softening that up a little bit more on the outside so it doesn't have a sharp edge. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, we'll take a look at this one because I wasn't quite sure. I'm gonna just use the soft steel wool and just try to round that, soften it up a little bit more on the outside edge of this piece as well. I think that will just improve the piece a great deal. Good idea to do this outside or wear a dust mask. And we all seem to have masks these days, so it shouldn't be hard to find one. I know it was in the beginning, but they're out there, they're available. Use them. That's a little better. All right. So I'm going to put these away, and we'll get started on the next step.